Organ meats such as liver, kidney, heart, and sweetbreads are often praised for their exceptional nutrient density, and this reputation is not undeserved. They contain concentrated amounts of iron, vitamin B12, folate, zinc, selenium, and preformed vitamin A, nutrients that are critical for red blood cell production, neurological function, immune defense, and cellular repair. In populations with limited food variety or increased nutrient needs, small amounts of organ meats have historically helped prevent deficiencies. However, when viewed through the lens of gout, hyperuricemia, kidney stress, and modern metabolic disease, these foods shift from being nutrient-dense to potentially hazardous, especially when consumed more than very occasionally. The primary concern lies in their extremely high purine content. Purines are natural components of DNA and RNA, and organ meats contain far higher concentrations than most muscle meats because they are metabolically active tissues. When purines are broken down in the body, they produce uric acid as a waste product. In people with normal uric acid metabolism, this may not cause immediate problems, but in those with gout, a genetic tendency toward high uric acid, reduced kidney clearance, insulin resistance, or dehydration. Even a single serving of organ meat can cause a sharp spike in blood urate levels. This spike can trigger painful gout flares, joint inflammation, and prolonged recovery periods. Unlike slower, lower purine protein sources, organ meats deliver a rapid purine load that the body may struggle to process efficiently. Kidney function plays a central role in this risk. The kidneys are responsible for excreting uric acid, and many people with gout already have some degree of impaired renal handling of urate, even if standard kidney tests appear normal. Adding organ meats to the diet increases the burden on the kidneys, potentially worsening uric acid retention over time. For individuals with chronic kidney disease, hypertension, or diabetes, this added strain can be especially problematic and may contribute to a cycle of rising uric acid, inflammation, and declining kidney health. Another often overlooked issue is vitamin A toxicity. Liver, in particular, is one of the richest dietary sources of preformed vitamin A, retinol. While vitamin A is essential for vision, immune function, and skin health, it becomes toxic at relatively modest excess levels when consumed frequently. Regular intake of liver can lead to hypervitaminosis A, causing symptoms such as headaches, joint pain, fatigue, bone thinning, and liver stress. For pregnant women, excess vitamin A intake is especially dangerous because it can interfere with fetal development and increase the risk of birth defects. This makes frequent consumption of liver a poor choice for women of childbearing age unless intake is carefully controlled. Organ meats also concentrate iron and certain environmental toxins more than muscle meats. While iron deficiency is common in some populations, excessive iron intake can be harmful, particularly for individuals with hereditary hemochromatosis or those who already consume iron-fortified foods and supplements. Excess iron promotes oxidative stress, damages tissues, and may increase cardiovascular risk. Because organs filter, store, or process substances in the body, they may also accumulate heavy metals or other contaminants, especially when sourced from animals raised in polluted environments. This adds another layer of long-term risk that is rarely considered when organ meats are promoted as superfoods. From a metabolic perspective, organ meats may also worsen inflammation in susceptible individuals. Gout itself is an inflammatory condition, and repeated uric acid spikes can promote low-grade systemic inflammation even between acute attacks. Over time, this may contribute to joint damage, reduced mobility, and higher risk of comorbid conditions such as cardiovascular disease. Some studies have shown that high-purine animal foods are more strongly associated with gout flares than plant-based purines, making organ meats particularly problematic compared with legumes or whole grains. In practical terms, for people with gout or elevated uric acid, organ meats should be avoided or limited to extremely rare occasions and very small portions. Eating them weekly or even monthly in full servings can significantly undermine uric acid control. Cooking methods do not eliminate purines, and while boiling may reduce purine content slightly by leaching compounds into the cooking liquid, the remaining concentration is still high enough to pose a risk. Combining organ meats with alcohol, especially beer or spirits, or with sugary foods and drinks further amplifies uric acid production and greatly increases the chance of an attack. Safer alternatives exist that provide adequate nutrition without the same level of risk. Lean muscle meats in moderate portions, eggs, low-fat dairy, and a wide range of plant-based proteins can supply protein, iron, B vitamins, and other essential nutrients with a much lower purine load. For micronutrients often cited as reasons to eat organ meats, such as B12 or iron, targeted supplementation or diversified whole food choices are usually safer and more controllable options for people with gout. Hydration, weight management, and consistent meal patterns also play a crucial role in keeping uric acid levels stable and reducing flare frequency. In summary, while organ meats are undeniably nutritious, their risks are disproportionately high for individuals with gout or elevated uric acid. The combination of extreme purine content, kidney stress, potential vitamin A toxicity, iron overload, and inflammatory effects makes them unsuitable as regular foods for this population. Treating organ meats as a rare indulgence rather than a health staple or avoiding them entirely is a far more protective strategy, especially when long-term joint health, kidney function, and overall metabolic stability are priorities.